All right, we just had to quickly switch over from putting out fertilizer on corn to spraying burn down on cotton, because that cotton that I replanted, first I replanted was now 3 days ago. With these warm temperatures, it could be busting the ground real quickly. You know, we got to kill the old cotton stand so our rows are lined up and everything. I just didn't think we were going to have enough time to finish corn fertilizer before we did cotton burn down, and then checked our chemical situation, ordered another bulk tank of Gramoxone on Monday, and anyway, it still hadn't shown up at the store yet. But another branch little bit farther did have one, so we're about to test the load capabilities of this ram here. We'll fit a 275 gallon bulk tank here in the back. I got faith you'll handle it all right though. Oh, I promise you, this Carolina squat is not going to be permanent. We're going to rectify this shortly, but definitely testing out the rear springs on the truck. Let replant 2023 round 3 begin. Yep, you heard me right. Round 3 of replant has begun. I got 90 acres of seed in the planter. I got 200 acres of seed total. This last batch that we planted, just that 3 inches of rain we had, you know, that night or the following day, immediately after the first planting, just did it in. Didn't find any rotted seed, but I found a bunch that had damped off. I don't know if it was Piscium or whatever, but the taproot coming out of the seed, just it rotted off. The cotton leaf still look good, but I mean, it's not going to grow without a root system. These 2 farms that I scouted was definitely a lot harder call than the others. I mean, I really had to get down my hands and knees and do some measuring and counting, but boy, there were some good spots in the field, but it was like the rest of it, just it had stretches that wasn't so good. You know, stretches where I got, you know, somewhere between 15,000-20,000 population, which can make decent yield. Can I make better yield planting 7-8 days later with a full population? I don't know. You tell me what the weather's going to do the rest of the year, I'll probably tell you what the right decision is going to be. I do know the one fact is you can't make yield unless you got population. But right now, on the day, May 26th, we're looking, according to research at our location, we're looking at about 80% of normal yield. In other words, we've lost about 20% of our potential yield for the year just because of the late date. Guys are just not going to have enough time to set those top poles and make top yield unless we have an abnormally warm September, a really late frost, and then to top our misery off even more, Andy and Kelly been going hard all week. Got the cotton that I replanted initially up to now, got it burnt down again. They got back on corn fertilizer. As soon as they got to the field, sprayers started throwing death codes. Here it is, Friday, May 26th. It happened at 5:30. Everybody at the dealership's done gone home. I can't reach nobody on the phone. I don't have any idea if anybody will be there tomorrow morning or if everybody's off. Or if everybody's off until Tuesday. It's been one of those weeks. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by replanting. I do know we need to be spraying and applying fertilizer, but don't know how much longer we'll be able to do that because the sprayer's probably going to be derating itself pretty long. Luckily, I do think I've got a backup sprayer lined up. One of my friends told me they weren't going to be using theirs, but I absolutely hate using somebody else's piece of equipment because if it's going to break, you know exactly where it's going to break at. gonna break on our farm. But this cotton's gonna be up in probably 4 days. Probably be coming up Monday into Tuesday that I'm planting now. And if we don't have this burnt down by then, the existing cotton that's up, what the planter doesn't tear up, we're gonna have a mess come cotton harvest, because we're gonna have 2 rows that, you know, in parts of the field, especially going around curves, it's not gonna be on, you know, they're not gonna be on top of one another. And then to rub salt in the wound, all my buddies sending me pictures of, or all of my non-farming buddies sending me pictures of them on their boats at the lake with a beer in hand. And there I am, replanting a cotton crop that I don't know if I should be planting or not. But still, it'd be nice to be sitting on my porch with a beer in my hand rather than the cotton field looking at, could be a 1 o'clock night tonight, because I'm not going home until I get this 90 acres planted. Because we're at the point in the season, every hour on this cotton crop counts. I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything. Every hour, every extra day we can give this cotton crop can make a pretty big difference in yield. Just like we saw last fall, whether we get it opened up or not to harvest, every hour counts right now. You know, the last time I had this late cotton was 2 years ago. We had we had an 18-acre farm that we replanted on Memorial Day, and I mean, it didn't yield all that great. It was late, didn't have enough time to set the yield that it needed. We kind of had a coolish summer though, so it didn't accumulate the heat. This summer could be the big difference. We might get plenty of heat units and might be able to make a pretty respectable yield out of this. But all hopes for a record year this year on cotton, and from what I've seen of my corn crop, all hopes of making a record crop this year, probably out the window. It can still be a pretty dang good year, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom, but when you put your seed in the ground, the hope is you're gonna have a record year that year. And to put seed in the ground knowing that all chances of a record year are already out the window, you know, it's kind of disheartening and really not making you look forward to putting in all those hours during the summer, knowing that, you know, starting off from the get-go, you know, you've already lost yield potential. That's kind of a tough pill to swallow. But who knows, good Lord may surprise me. He got a plan, I just don't know what that plan is. Just gotta have faith that in the long run, everything's gonna turn out all right.
It's Friday, it's 6:30, and the sprayer has broke down. Welcome to farming. Okay, so we've gone from spraying fertilizer on corn to spraying burn down on the replanted cotton ground, which is around 220 acres, back to putting all the tips back on for the fertilizer. We get out here and we fill up, and then the code shows up for the DEF tank header. Thanks to Google, it basically says that the sensor is bad, there's a bad connection, or corrosion. Makes sense. So we got to the next farm. We thought, all right, well, the sprayer's still running, we might as well just go ahead and attempt to, you know, get the fertilizer out of the sprayer completely. We checked all the DEF connections, everything looks fine. So he's powered down again, sat for about 2 minutes. I said, let everything recycle and let's see what happens.
Now my monitor it won't turn on. It's doing a John Deere with the little loading sign, and it'll go black, and then it'll faintly do the John Deere with the loading sign, and then it'll go black. And now it's just sitting on the John Deere with the loading sign.
I think we're officially done. It is Friday, 6:30 on Memorial Day weekend. So we're probably screwed. We were doing so good. We were doing so good. All right, 5 minutes later, the sprayer wants to work for now. But the plan is to just try and get this tank emptied and then possibly start over tomorrow. I don't know. It's a holiday weekend, and I don't even have enough fertilizer to finish corn. I will have to go get some tomorrow, and apparently they're only open for a couple hours, so And then the best part about our Friday is that I'm pretty sure Matt is going to have to replant 98% of all of our cotton. And we're exhausted and tired working every day 7 a.m. until 8 or 9 p.m. at night, and it just doesn't seem like there's any... This is how it's going to be for the next couple of months. Maybe get a priest out here to do an exorcism on our farm.
I know a lot of people out there probably think that the reason I'm having to do so much replanting this year is the jungle we're planting into. All that residue, high biomass and everything else. But out here we're in our adaptive management plots where we got no-till and cover crop replicated and stuff. And just kind of want to show y'all that the problem was just the weather this year. It wasn't the tillage or conservation practice necessarily. Now this part of the field, if it all looked like this, I probably wouldn't be out here replanting. I know it's getting dark, hard to see. We got plant there, which is good. And then we go about 15 inches, got another 1, 2, and we got another skip, 1, 2. And you know, this isn't a full stand, but it's definitely an acceptable stand. Just in this one location. However, you walk up through there, then you'll find this place that's got a pretty long skip and whatnot. Like I said, these whole farms, it's kind of questionable. I'm kind of danged if I do, danged if I don't on replanting. And then walking right next door here into my cover crop. No, it's getting dark and hard to see. Plant there. Got a foot gap there. There. Again, that's acceptable. But then we go right here. Got one there, and then nothing. Got one coming up right there, right there. So you see, it's not necessarily the conservation practice. You know, very similar. Cover crop, no-till. The funny thing is, the few areas of this farm where I conventionally tilled it, where we had some rough spots, come here with a disc and do all and smoothed it out, that ground crusted over and germinated about the same, but cotton doesn't have the power to push up through that crust. Once that soil, once you plow it up and take that soil structure out, the ground, when it's wet and then you have warm sunny days, dries it out and kind of turns that plowed up ground into concrete because you took all the pore space away. It seals up basically, and cotton just doesn't have the pushing power to push up through that. That's one of the reasons it's such a finicky crop to get started up. You see right here in the no-till, see here's a cotton that did manage to push up. You see it had to dislodge this whole clod. But then you look right down through here, and there probably should be 4 or 5 seeds in that area, and see nothing's coming up because see it's just it sealed it off right there. And here in the no-till and my cover crop, you know, we did have a little bit of tillage action which hurt the soil structure, you know, from our row cleaners and then our closing system behind it. You know, it kind of tilled the soil up a little bit. That took some soil structure away, but not near to the extent as if you come in here with a, you know, disc, do-all, vertical tillage, whatnot, to really break up that soil and disturb it. So again, that's why I'm such a big proponent of soil health and soil structure, cover crops, to try and get that to try and build our soils up into a good environment for young seeds to come up in. But ultimately, on cotton, when you have a 3-inch flood within a day or two of planting cotton, it really don't matter what your practice is. It just, you're probably going to be out there replanting, and that's what we've seen this year. All right, finally got some good news. Just got off the phone with service manager from Tennessee Tractor. Finally got a hold of somebody, and they do have somebody on call tomorrow. They don't know if they got the part that we need for the DEF system, but I was able to get a hold of somebody, and there's a pretty good chance that, well, I know we'll be able to get somebody out to look at it, but I'd say there's a pretty good chance we'll be able to get the sprayer fixed. So far it hasn't derated, and I was worried about it maybe derating going down the road, but they told me that it'll give you a warning before it derates to give you enough time to get off the road. You know, it'll say You know, he'll tell you, you know, you got 2 hours left until derates or an hour left or whatever. So we're gonna keep on running it until we get to that point. Hopefully we'll get the fertilizer done. I already had 2 people offer their sprayers to me. One of them really doesn't want the fertilizer run through it, which I understand. But and the other one, we'd have to take the wide drops. They got wide drop attachments on there. We'd have to take that off and then put our fertilizer nozzles on, which, you know, you're probably looking at about 3 hours there. So hopefully ours just keeps on running full power, at least until we get the fertilizer done. Hopefully they'll call me back at 6:30, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and say, yep, we got the part, we're on our way out there, where's the sprayer at? We'll have you back up and running in no time. Well, I'll tell you one thing, these emission issues, boy, they're about to get me fired up. Just absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous that here we are, you know, my $200,000 machine that I really need to work at a very critical time of the year could be come to a halt on a major holiday when everybody's closed. All not because of a mechanical problem, all because of an emissions problem. Now, fortunately, I got some friends that are some good Samaritans and can bail me out, but what if those people didn't offer their sprayer to me and ours derates? My cotton crop, my corn crop is at risk. You know, an entire year's worth of income is at risk because the machine that I need to perform won't perform because of a freaking emissions issue. I mean, it just ain't right. All right, just got Kelly and Andy sent off for the morning. Got figured up how much more nitrogen they're going to need. Kelly's got to go by Helena, pick up another 1,500 gallons of nitrogen. Is what we got on hand. They got about 6,500, 7,000 more gallons to spread today. Hopefully the sprayer holds out. Haven't heard from Tennessee Tractor, but hopefully somebody be coming out today. Then I get to start the day by replacing a load cell here. Oh, somebody just pulled up. I do believe it might be my best friend from Tennessee Tractor this morning. Yep, Calvary has arrived. Well, it looks like you all set up and ready to go again. Don't have to worry about it derating on you.
I think so. But
all right.
Hop up and try it and see if it all still works. Should be great.
Sooner you get all this sprayed, sooner you get to start enjoying this Memorial Day weekend.
Hey, let's go.
Well, I just went back to the shop to get more seeds, switching over to a Thrive on these farms, and heard some thunder. I looked up there and, well, it's kind of dark. And we're facing east, so we should be all right, shouldn't we? Nope. That stuff's moving east to west. Like, never happens. Except for today, when we need to get done with replanting. We just can't win for trying, can we? I mean, on the one hand, rain's not going to be the worst thing. We've applied a lot of chemicals to our soybeans and our corn. Applied a lot of fertilizer to our corn. And, you know, a half-inch of rain would be absolutely perfect on that to get that stuff incorporated into the soil to keep weeds from coming up, you know, get fertilizer to the roots of the corn so it can really take off. But that's not what I wanted to say on this replanted cotton. So right now, I'm kind of in the same conundrum as we were back when we used to grow hybrid Bermuda hay for horses. You know, baling hay all summer long. On one hand, I didn't want to rain because we had really high quality hay on the ground. It was going to be rude if it got rain on it. On the other hand, we had crops in the field that needed to rain. Seemed like we was always in a catch-22 situation all summer long, every summer. And I don't like that feeling. But that's what we're looking at right now. Oh man, that's looking ugly now. Well, looks like we're done. About 43 acres away from being done with replant. Now it's official. We're unless this happens to not drop very much rain at all, we're going to have some June 1st planted cotton, or maybe not June 1st, we're going to have some June planted cotton, because say the 31st is Monday, and you know, if it drops a half an inch to an inch, I just don't see us planting before Tuesday at all. Wish we just gotten a few more hours. And if this line drops a bunch of rain, I mean, we might not be in any better situation on everything I've replanted for most of this week. I think when I first started replanting, be okay. It's popping the ground. It should be fine. But like yesterday, the day before, I don't know. Well, thank the good Lord, we didn't get that much rain. I think we got like less than 2/10, so it shouldn't cause an issue with the cotton emerging, but it is a little too slick for us to keep on planting. But I think we should be able to finish it up tomorrow, a day later. Not too terrible. But first thing in the morning, Sunday morning, got a tire to fix on the sprayer now. While I was pouring down rain, Kelly called me, said they got a flat tire on the sprayer. Best one's backed up, but said they could be out there tomorrow morning. They got like 40 acres left of fertilizer to put out. We got to get that sprayer fixed, because this cotton that I've replanted could be coming up, you know, Monday afternoon, Tuesday. We got to get the paraquat sprayed on it. This Memorial Day weekend is turning out to suck really bad, but it could be a lot worse. We could be rained out, could be had 2-3 inches of rain, and all this work been for nothing. So couple tenths inch, not bad at all. You know, if that's what it's going to do, I'll take it. Yeah, I'd say we got a problem here. Out here getting filled up, waiting on best one to get out here this fine Sunday morning. But anyway, they told me that the air was coming out right here in the tread, so hopefully just be able to yank that fender off, pull the tire off, put a boot in the tire, and she'll be good to go, and I won't have to track down a new tire. Back in business. Yeah, I am a little sweaty. Yeah, I did help out now with the tire. That blasted fender had come off. It ain't easy. Ain't too hard coming off, but going back on, getting stuff lined up. Whew. All right, let's get this nitrogen wrapped up and then get on something else, see what else we can tear up today. Now, overall, all this corn looks pretty good. This field right here where I did the terrace work, oh, it's a dream to spray now. But around the edges, man, the inrows look like crap. Just did not come up to a good stand at all. I guess all that rain hurt it. For the most part, I'd say, you know, 90% of the field looks pretty good. Not as good as I'd want it to, but I mean, we still got chances for good yield out here, depending on the weather the rest of the year. I'm just really going to have to scout these fields hard for pigweed around the edges, make sure we don't let any get by and put on seed. We're going to have to fight for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
I hijacked Matt's camera because I don't know where mine is at. And there's 2 hanging in here. All right, little quick update. It has been an absolute crap show for the past couple of days. Yesterday, we went from spraying one thing to another. We've had to take off tips, we've had to put on tips, we've had to clean out tips. It's rained twice. Yeah, it's just been fun. The def pump had to be replaced yesterday morning, and then we went back to spraying nitrogen after that was replaced, and then on the very last farm of nitrogen, it rained again. And as we went to go fill up because it had stopped raining, the cursed farm gave us a flat tire. So at that point, Andy and I went back to the shop and we called it a day, called it a week. And here I am again. Matt and I sprayed this morning. He had the tire fixed, and then I came out there with the truck. We took all the fertilizer tips off, we swapped over to burn down, and now it's my turn. So I get in here, and there of course is another flashing light because this is awesome. And it turns out there was no coolant. John Deere does not make this easy at all, but I got it done. So now I'm about to have to go wash everything off because it smells and I don't want to feel like I've got something wrong. So now I got Carter mowing. It's a beautiful Sunday. So now it's my turn. I'm gonna go back to spraying corn burn down again for the second time. Third time. I don't even know what time. I think we're on the third time, so just gotta smile, because if not, you will drive yourself crazy. Matt and I are pretty much like checked out. Like, just check us out. Gonna need a break before weed harvest. I mean, I did a great job the first time, and here we are again. It's just sad. You work so hard and then there's nothing. There's just nothing. Really wish I was spraying this for like bugs and stuff and there was cotton up, but this is the story of our life this year. 90 something acres done. I don't know how much more Matt has planted. I know he did some spot planting around the house. Then he went, I think, another 30 acres, possibly another 15, and then I think he was spot planting a 110 acre farm. That's it for me. I'm going to go, it's 5:15, I'm gonna go home and actually make a grocery list because we haven't been grocery shopping in 3 weeks. So I don't want to go on a holiday weekend, but we don't have any food. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then tomorrow, I think we're gonna finish up the spraying that we have left. That's all I got. I am literally a zombie. So.
Well, all of my replanting is done. I forgot and left my camera back at the shop, so didn't get any recording of it. But anyway, we got done. I think we wound up replanting something somewhere around like 420 acres of our 550 acres of cotton had to be replanted. The most I've ever had to replant in my entire career. If I hadn't just bought that baler picker this winter and was needing to run it over a bunch of acres this fall, after seeing the results, I might have just killed off all the cotton and gone back with soybeans, which might have made the most sense money-wise, but who knows. When we bought that picker, we bought the wrap for that picker to wrap all these modules this fall, so we really needed the cotton. All right, before we end this video, sure some of the farmers out there that saw us using the stream bars to apply nitrogen on corn might be interested in what the corn looks like after we got done applying it. You know, how much leaf burn did we get? What I think about the application job it did. Here's our corn about 5-6 days after applying the nitrogen with a stream bar. I mean, you see we got a little bit of burn, but overall not near what, you know, I would have expected it to be. I mean, it looks really good. And one of the big reasons we went to this method rather than running our drop hoses down the middle is, well, it's quicker and easier. You don't have the hoses to mess with, but also because we planted our corn later, the cover crop was a lot bigger, and I was worried about the hoses just riding up on this cover crop and just kind of flopping around and then really splashing the corn plants with a good dose of nitrogen. In some areas of the field, there's a little bit more burn, but definitely not bad at all. In fact, a lot of the cornfields I've seen around here that were spread with dry fertilizer, they had more burn on them with dry fertilizer than what we see using the stream bars putting liquid fertilizer. Now, I'm sure there may be some environmental conditions that can affect the leaf burn, you know, sunlight, the humidity in the air, rainfall, if you got a dew on or whatever, but overall on all of my corn ground, I'm really pleased with the job it did. Plus, it was easy and quick. I definitely think we're going to continue to use this method in the future. I think the main thing is to minimize damage. Do it when the corn is still small preferably buy V5. I mean, the bigger you get, the more leaf area you got out here, the more leaf area you got to intercept the nitrogen and get burned from it. Plus, the later you get in the corn life cycle, you know, it's already setting yield, and any kind of injury to the corn plant in that time could potentially affect yield. So I definitely recommend doing it at V5 or before. Ultimately, overall, I've had better looking corn, but I've had worse looking corn too. And then just taking a quick glance at the roots, yeah, some of them broke off, but really good root development. You can see them coming down and out at about a 45-degree angle. No signs of compaction or anything like that. The roots are free to explore and probe the ground, hunting for nitrogen and other nutrients. Look right there, you can see the remains of the seed coat right there where it first germinated out. Pretty interesting. But right now, looking at our corn crop, especially around the edges, which are going to drag yield down, if we get normal rainfall for the rest of the summer, I'm going to expect about an average crop. We're going to have some really good spots in the field, and then we're going to have some spots in the field that aren't so good. So, but we still got a whole lot more growing season before we'll know anything. All right, last stop. I'm sure some of y'all want to know the status of the cotton crop. Right here, we're in the very first field where we started replanting a week ago. And as you can tell, it's up. It looks pretty good. There's a couple holes here and there, but we still got a few stragglers coming up. It's not 100% stand, but it's definitely good enough to keep. Now the strategy for the rest of the year is going to be promote earliness as much as we can. Probably going to lessen how much nitrogen I put on the crop to promote earliness and discourage a whole lot of extra vegetative growth. Going to be real aggressive with insect control, especially plant bugs early on in the fruiting stage. Going to be really aggressive with plant growth regulator just to try and promote a shorter, more compact plant and retain as much of that early developing fruit as possible to promote earliness, because we're going to be missing a few days on the end of the calendar trying to get this cotton mature, and we want to do everything we can to speed it up. Ultimately, that rained us out a couple nights ago that kept us from finishing up our replanting. We wound up getting about a ½ inch on. It was a very slow ½ inch, surprisingly, so I don't expect any problems with the later replanted cotton. Should come on up just fine. And actually, that rain definitely going to be a lot more beneficial to us, because we just got done applying approximately $50,000 worth of nitrogen fertilizer and residual herbicides to our corn and soybeans crop that needed rain to get those fertilizer and chemicals down into the soil to activate them. And with no rain in forecast this week, all that stuff would have been sitting out there and degrading and losing it to the environment rather than getting it down into the soil where we need it to be effective. So yeah, that ½ inch rain delayed us on finishing replanting by about a day, but ultimately it wound up being far more beneficial than it was negative. But anyway, from here on out, it's just going to be grow, baby, grow. And it'll probably be later on this week, or the first part of that next week, we'll be making our first trip across this cotton crop, spraying for thrips. But that's going to be another video for another day, so appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you in the next one.